The machine breaks before you can register the fault. No alarm, no warning, only a sudden lurch in your chest as if your own heartbeat has been ripped out of sequence. Then the pressure, the tearing sensation in your skull, and silence. When the world resolves again, it is not your own. You are lying against a slope of rock the color of dried blood. The sky a fierce, washed-out blue above you. The visor of your helmet clouds for a second before clearing, balancing the glare. Your first breath is mechanical, drawn through filters, tasting of metal and condensation. The suit is intact. The world is not. The horizon is broken by cliffs, titanic, jagged, stretching like the bones of a ruined fortress. You do not know their name, but your eyes recognize danger before your mind can translate it. Heat ripples from the stone. Somewhere below, water echoes faintly, though you cannot see it. Somewhere above, shadows cross and vanish again, too fast to be anything but alive. You push yourself upright. The machine is gone, ripped from the fold of time as neatly as if it had never existed. Only you remain, your breath, your suit, your trembling limbs, and the air itself unsettled. Something cries out overhead. The sound is not bird, not reptile, not anything you have words for. An angular shriek that claws at your spine. You look up. A shadow stretches across the rock, wide and wavering. Then it tilts and you glimpse it for the first time, wings. Enormous, membranous, sunlit along their edges. A creature spirals with perfect control. A long head glinting with teeth. A tail trailing behind like a rudder. Your heart thunders. Flight has begun here in this raw age of the earth. The sky is no longer empty. The pterosaur banks and vanishes behind a ridge, leaving only silence and the rush of hot air across your helmet. You are not safe. The cliffs are alive, the air itself crowded with watchers. You know instinctively that you cannot stay exposed. Here, the open ledge is not freedom but a trap, and you are no more than a trespasser on a roof that does not belong to you. You begin to move, careful on the slanted rock, seeking the dark fractures in the cliff face, the overhangs that might conceal you. Every sound seems magnified. The scrape of your suit against stone, the hiss of recycled breath. You do not want to hear yourself because if you hear it, so can they. Another cry closer. The beat of air, heavier this time, makes the loose dust around you tremble. A shadow falls again, and you press against the wall of the cliff, holding still. The shape that passes above is larger, slower, the body massive with muscle strung on hollow bones. Its wingspan blots out the sun for an instant. When it tilts, you see the long beak snap at something in midair. Hear the soft, wet crunch that follows. Your mind claws for focus. Panic will strip you faster than teeth. The rules will come, you will need them. Every survival is a pattern, a set of absolutes. Here, in this place, the rules must be about the sky. The world narrows to the shade, the cliff, the trembling inside your gloves. You are in the Triassic now, and the first wings rule above you. The cliff stretches like a blade against the horizon, its edge jagged and raw. Below, a canyon splits the land into unfathomable depth, choked with mist and the faint gleam of water. The air is hot, brittle, alive with currents that twist and roll. Every gust rattles your balance, dragging at your body as though the sky itself is intent on prying you from the stone. You cling to the wall, every step deliberate, the soles of your boots grating against the surface. The visor flickers as light burns across it. Sun without mercy, a sphere glaring from a sky too close. Heat radiates off the rock like the surface of a furnace. The suit struggles to compensate, whispering faintly as the cooling system fights the environment. You feel the sweat gather under your layers, trapped, slick, unavoidable. Across the canyon, movement. A colony of shapes clings to a ledge, their bodies folded in restless stillness. Even from this distance you see the wings, leathery sails tucked against narrow frames. They hang head down like bats, claws hooked into the stone. Occasionally one stirs, stretching wide, letting the wind catch its surface before folding tight again. Their eyes, black and bead-like, shine when they tilt their heads. You know without proof that they can see you. The air shivers with their calls. Harsh, metallic cries that echo down the canyon. They do not sound like voices. They sound like knives scraping stone. Above, others wheel. Their wings do not flap in frantic rhythm. They ride the updrafts as though stitched to the sky itself, rising, gliding, falling with controlled precision. Each tilt of their bodies is deliberate, an equation solved in bone and muscle long before you arrived here. When they fold their wings, they drop like blades, vanish into the canyon mist, and reappear elsewhere, triumphant. You are not in a neutral landscape. The cliffs are not mere stone, not simple obstacles. They are hunting grounds. Every ridge, every ledge, every overhang is a perch, a launch site, a watchtower. The open sky is not empty space. It is territory, contested and owned by creatures that view you only as anomaly, as object, as possible prey. You crouch beneath a shallow overhang, listening. The world hums with subtle movement. The rattle of small lizards across the rock, the dry hiss of wind through cracks, the wing beats that come and go like the breath of the world itself. You cannot tell how many there are. You cannot tell where the next shadow will fall. The canyon smells faintly even through your filters, a blend of minerals and something sharp, acrid, guano, perhaps, baked into the cliffs. The stench of occupation, the stench of permanence. Your helmet display flickers briefly with internal diagnostics. Power is stable, but you know how fragile that is. Here, without shelter, you are a beacon, a moving spark of heat and reflection against a background that notices everything. You need rules. Without them, you are no more than a figure wandering across a firing range, waiting for the sky to decide the exact angle of your disappearance. The sound comes again, not above this time, but behind. You turn too slowly, see it only for an instant. A small one, young, perhaps, landing on a protruding rock. It tilts its head, wings half spread, as if testing its balance against the air. Teeth flash when it opens its mouth. A cry bursts forth, thin and jagged, more warning than threat. The colony stirs. You understand. Noise travels and the sky listens. Every call is a signal. Every movement, a map. You are already being marked, already carried from one awareness to another. The air changes. A gust rises, funneling through the canyon, lifting dust and grit into a storm of sparks. The young one launches again, folding into the wind with ease. Others stir, wings rustling like sails in a sudden tide. Your breath catches. You do not yet have rules, but you know the first truth. To be seen is to be chosen. And here, in the Triassic cliffs, choice is fatal. The overhang shelters you only briefly. Already the shadows above are shifting, patterns that mean wings circling, eyes watching. Instinct is not enough here. Instinct wavers, betrays. You need structure. You need certainty. And so, the rules begin to take form inside your mind. Not wisdom, not revelation, but necessity distilled into command. Rule 1. Never remain on the ridge. The crest of the cliff calls to you with its illusion of vantage, its promise of sight lines and open air. But that same openness betrays you. Up there, you are exposed from every angle, silhouette against the sky. To the pterosaurs, a figure on the ridge is nothing but a moving signal, outlined, helpless. You glimpse the cost of breaking this rule when one of the smaller creatures strays too far from its colony. It lands along the spine of the cliff, wings still half spread, basking in the sunlight. The air seems calm for a moment. Then a larger shadow falls. The strike is brutal in its elegance. No noise, no hesitation. A massive beak spears downward, jaws close, and the smaller body vanishes in a spray of feathers and dust. The wings that once promised freedom scatter like scraps of cloth. You press closer to the stone. The ridge is not freedom. It is execution ground. Rule 2. Always find a canopy, an overhang or shadowed recess. Shelter does not merely conceal, it redefines you. Under the rock, you are not silhouette, not target, not invitation. The cliffs are riddled with fractures, some narrow, some deep enough to swallow you whole. These places are not safe, but they are safer. You watch as the colony stirs again. One creature launches toward the canyon floor, diving straight into open air. Another follows. From your shaded vantage, you see the path they carve, each maneuver impossible, every glide controlled by currents invisible to you. To move in their sky is to gamble with forces you do not understand. Had you been out there without cover, you would already be falling, stripped from the cliff by the turbulence, a helpless shape tumbling until wings closed around you. Rule 3. Silence is survival. The canyon is a chamber of echoes. Every scrape, every exhalation carries. The calls of the pterosaurs ripple through it like alarms. Each cry answered, magnified, triangulated. Sound travels faster than sight here. You test this truth unintentionally. Your boot dislodges a pebble. It clatters down the stone, bouncing into the mist. At once, heads turn. Dozens of them. Eyes narrow. Wings stir. For several heartbeats, the colony is alive with restless motion, waiting for confirmation. Only when the silence restores itself do they settle, reluctant. One sound more and you would not be here to think. Rule 4. Do not trust stillness. The air seems empty at times. No wings overhead, no cries echoing. But stillness here is a falsehood. The creatures do not flap without reason. They glide, vanish, reappear. A clear sky means only that they are waiting higher out of sight, or below, rising toward you. Your visor captures a flicker of movement. Nothing at first, then a shape rushing upward from the canyon mist. It levels out a dozen meters from your ledge, wings beating once with thunderous force before it glides away again. Silent moments are the prelude, not reprieve. If you step into the open because the air feels calm, you will step into jaws you never saw coming. Rule 5. Conserve your strength but never linger. The cliff tempts you to stop, to rest. But the longer you remain in one place, the more the world notices. Guano stains prove it. Ledges thick with the waste of those who roost, those who wait. Every stationary object here becomes background, and background is studied, dissected. You test this truth with stillness, crouched beneath your overhang for minutes too long. At first, safety. Then a shift in air. A shadow lengthens across the rock, silent and deliberate. Only when you move again, crawling deeper into shade, does the shadow dissolve back into the sky. You realize what nearly happened. The ambush of patience. Rest is not refuge. Rest is bait. The rules are not gentle, not flexible. Each one is sharpened by the sight of what happens when it is broken. They are not choices. They are edges. If you cross them, you fall. Your breath grows shallow, the rhythm of it matching the rules. You move from shadow to shadow, every step timed to silence. Above, wings scythe the sky. Below, the canyon devours sound. The Triassic is vast, merciless, and utterly indifferent. And you are one small shape clinging to the cliffs, repeating rules like prayer, knowing that prayer does not save. Obedience does. For a time, the rules hold you. You move as shadow, keep to the overhangs, let silence guide your steps. Each breath is measured, each movement calculated. The sky forgets you briefly, and the cliffs accept your crawling presence. But the cliffs are not uniform. The fractures you use as cover grow shallower, the shadows more scattered. At last, the path narrows to a spine of stone barely wide enough for your boots, and the rock above it shears back, offering no roof, no canopy. An exposed traverse, a ridge in all but name. You hesitate. Rule 1. Never remain on the ridge. Rule 2. Always find a canopy. Yet there is none. The canyon yawns to your left. The cliff face drops sheer to your right. You cannot retreat. Behind you, the overhangs are already stirring with movement. A colony shifting, restless, aware. To wait is to be seen. To go forward is to break the rules. You choose forward. The sky opens around you like a wound. The sun bears down, blinding. Your suit gleams against the stone despite its muted surface. Instantly, shadows move above. You keep low, crawling, fingers scraping raw stone through the gloves. The ridge is only a dozen meters, but each one extends into eternity. A cry rips the air. It echoes in your chest so sharp it could be inside your own lungs. You do not look up. you do not want to see. Rule 3. Silence. Fails as your breath quickens, harsh and ragged in the helmet. You force yourself to slow, but the damage is done. They heard. The first strike comes from the canyon, not above. A shape erupts from the mist, wings cutting upward, a long head spearing toward you. Its jaws snap shut on empty air as you fling yourself flat against the rock. Wind from its passage slams into you, rattling the filters in your suit. Pebbles dislodge, clattering down into the depths. The canyon answers with more cries. Rule 3. Silence. Broken. You scramble forward, no longer measured, no longer careful. The ridge vibrates with your steps. The sky reacts. Shadows converge, circling, descending. You feel their presence like a net drawing tighter, invisible but absolute. Halfway across, you make the mistake of pausing. A reflex, a desperate glance upward. The sky seems empty for a heartbeat. Rule 4 warns you, do not trust stillness. You remember it too late. From directly above, a massive shape folds its wings and drops. The impact is not on you, but beside you, close enough to crack stone. Close enough that the gust nearly tears you loose. Its head whips sideways, jaws slamming shut a meter from your arm. Teeth scrape your suit, leaving white scars across the plating. You stumble forward, heart hammering. The rules blur into panic. One step too fast, one grip too loose, and your boot slips. Rock grinds away beneath you, and suddenly you are dangling, the ridge no longer beneath but above, your body swinging out into void. You catch yourself on a protrusion, arm screaming in its socket. The canyon gapes below, mist waiting to receive you. Above, wings circle. Your visor fogs from the heat of your breath, from the inevitability pressing in on every side. You haul yourself upward, fingers raw inside your gloves, chest burning. The ridge accepts you again, but not as before. Now you are marked. The air hums with it. They know. Rule 5, conserve strength, shatters in your lungs. You have spent too much. Each motion now is drag, exhaustion. And the cliffs do not forgive exhaustion. They reward it with disappearance. You crawl, half blind, until you reach the next shallow overhang. It shelters little, a lip of rock barely wider than your shoulders. You collapse beneath it, heart hammering, trying to restore silence. But silence is gone. The colony across the canyon is fully awake now, wings beating in restless rhythm, cries passing from one to another like fire. The rules no longer shield you. They surround you as broken fragments, reminders of what you cannot uphold. Above the overhang, claws scrape stone. Something has landed. Something waits. The overhang is shallow, its promise of concealment brittle. You press yourself against the stone, but the weight above tells you the truth. You are already located, already defined. The claws scrape again, deliberate. They do not probe, they claim. You freeze, breath shallow, hoping stillness might erase you. But rule forewarned you, stillness is a falsehood. And now the silence is worse than noise. Silence is anticipation. The shadow shifts, and a long head lowers over the lip of the rock. Teeth gleam in the light, eyes fixed with a patience more terrible than frenzy. Studies you, tilts its head, adjusts. The wings above rustle, waiting for the signal. You crawl deeper, though there is nowhere deeper to go. The stone wall meets you, unyielding. The suit hisses with your breath, each exhalation a betrayal. You cannot still the pounding of your heart. If the air can hear it, so can they. Then it calls. The shriek tears the air, a blade of sound that strikes the canyon walls and multiplies. The answer rises instantly, dozens of voices, a lattice of echoes. The sky darkens. The colony has chosen. You bolt. Rules disintegrate behind you. You abandon silence, abandon cover, scramble along the cliff face in blind desperation. Wings beat above, their rhythm a storm. Shadows flicker across your visor, faster than thought, faster than escape. The air thickens with movement. A dive slams past your shoulder, the rush of it nearly toppling you into the abyss. Another follows, closer, its wingtip raking your helmet with a crack that sends stars through your vision. You stagger but continue, because motion is the only option left. The ridge narrows again, and you stumble onto it, no shelter now, no canopy. You break Rule 1 without hesitation, because choice no longer exists. You are outlined against the sky, the canyon yawning beneath you. You run, your legs mechanical, clumsy in the suit. The pterosaurs close in. They do not strike all at once. They herd. Each dive drives you forward. Each near miss corrals you toward the inevitable. The air becomes a cage of wings, a thunder of membranes and bone. At last, one lands ahead of you, talons gripping the ridge. Its wings spread, blocking the path, vast as sails stretched across a mast. The beak opens, a gape lined with teeth sharp enough to glint in the sun. You skid to a halt, dust scattering under your boots. Behind you, more shadows drop. You are surrounded. For a breathless instant, the world holds still. The cliff, the canyon, the sky, all converge into this single narrowing point. Your body trembles, not from choice, but from the collapse of all choices. Then they strike. Wings batter you from every side, a suffocating storm. Jaws snap, talons scrape, the world spinning into chaos. You fight only in reflex, arms raised, body bent, but each motion drags you closer to the edge. Your visor fractures, lines spreading like frost. Your breath fills with the taste of dust and recycled panic. The final impact comes from above. A mass collides with your back, driving you down, stripping you from the stone. For one fleeting second you are airborne, suspended between sky and abyss, the cliffs spinning around you, wings spiraling in chaotic orbit. Then the canyon opens its throat and swallows you whole. The last sound is the shriek of the colony, triumphant, echoing through stone and mist. The rules are gone. The sky is absolute, and you fall weightless into a silence deeper than survival.